think the biggest question going around right now is recently to patch 3.8, there's a lot of changes to the jungle. And so the first question is, how has the new change to the jungle affected the dynamics of the game?
We're live right now, right?
Yes.
So I answer the camera. So the new jungle, well, the big change was that it's not only that everything spawns at 155, but they transferred a lot of EXP to the blue buff and red buff, which means if you kill just a blue buff or a red buff in like a steal or something, you will get level 2. This has made Nunu incredibly annoying in solo queue, because once he steals a buff, he basically snowballs and just owns you, and his stats are insane. It's probably going to make counter juggling a lot more punishing. If you lose a buff, you lose a lot because it's worth more EXP. The other changes weren't so big, like 50-second respawn timer. It doesn't really matter. Like, it's still the same. It still feels the same. Like, you farm, you gank, you farm. But yeah, the buffs are really important. So if you have a mid laner that doesn't need blue buff, you're going to be much more ahead than usual because you're getting full XP. If you have a mid laner that needs blue, the mid laner will be more ahead than usual. And you'll be slightly behind the enemy jungle, but I think it's mostly encourages counter jungle. So Ninu's probably going to get nerfed because he's really stupid in solo queue because you can steal buffs because his consume is almost always higher damage than smite.
Okay, so who do you think is the top 5 strongest jungler at the moment with the new jungle changes?
Okay, so Ninu would be first. That's like easy. Let's see. Zac is still pretty good unless he faces Ninu. Zac is very bad against Ninu. It's really annoying. I still think Elise is still good. I still think she's pretty good. So that's 3. Let's see. I think Evelyn was actually not bad. I've been trying it out. Really good flank capabilities. She's actually decent against Ninu because Ice Blast doesn't do anything to Evelyn. You just cleanse it basically and run away, or you can just kite him to death. But let's see, that's 4. The 5th is like a toss-up. I don't know. It's really hard to pick 5 that are just better than everyone else. So usually there's some that are good for the situation. Like Nocturne's good for global comp or engaging from afar. Cho's good for when the enemy engages on you. So St. Alice got hurt a little bit, so he's not as good. But I think like that 5th is like a situational pick. Like Nocturne and Cho'Gath are all good. Nihilus is good if you don't have Zac for engage, because Zac's good for engage. That's why he's one of the better ones. Like if you take out Zac, you're left with Jarvan, Nihilus, Hecarim, but those 3 are like iffy. I wouldn't say they're like, I'd say Zac is better than all 3 of them at engaging. So if I were to pick an engager, it'd be Zac over those 3.
Okay, so I think last question in regards to the jungle changes. What are your thoughts on the changes to Rigo's Lantern?
I think Rigo's Lantern sucks balls. I've said this. What they did was they made it even cost even more, so it's not that good to get. Unlike the Spirit Stone items, which are really cost effective, Rigo's is barely cost effective, and you don't really get, like, you're paying for stats that you don't need on bruisers. Bruisers tend not to like lifesteal that much. Usually they have some form of sustaining themselves, or they don't build damage. Like the thing about lifesteal is if you do a lot of damage and have low HP, you gain a lot of HP, or a proportion to how much HP. So if you do, let's see, 100 damage, and you have 10% lifesteal, you get 10 HP. So that's a lot of HP if you have 1,000 HP, but if you have like 4k HP, that's like nothing. And so Rigo's is really bad because you're paying for stats that 80 carries would want, or 80 assassins would want. So it's not very good item, I don't think, because it costs so much money and you get stats you don't need. Like you get a little bit of damage, you might as well go Spirit Lizard if you want damage, but the big thing you get with Rigo's is the lifesteal, which is completely useless. So they've really made Rigo's really bad Season 3, ever since they made lifesteal cost more, which basically meant Rigo's cost more. So I don't like the new Rigo's at all.
Mm-hmm. So this next question is in regards to like just the understanding of the jungle. So what are some key points that you look for when you're deciding whether to gank or continue farming? Is there ever a lane that's truly ungankable?
It depends on, a lot of factors. So sometimes the lane is like volatile when there's like no wards, both players are playing aggressive and they're low HP. That's usually the best lane to get, because you'll probably the enemy jungler will probably also go for that one too, but if the enemy jungler doesn't go for it, you can get an easy kill because they're low HP and they're exhausted from fighting the opponent. It gets slightly harder when they're not aggressive. You have to see where it's pushing. Like, can you dive 2v1 and do you know where the enemy jungle is? So there's a lot of factors. An ungankable lane would probably be one that is either fed and pushed up, so you can't really get around because they're warded. Something like that. Like I've had games where there's like a Draven and Draven Lulu or something ball lane and they're up 4-0. It's like unless you get mid lane to help you, it's really hard to gank on your own because a fed Draven will just kill all of you at once. So those are probably lanes you don't want to gank unless you have your mid laner come and make it a 4-on-3, or else you just, 4-on-2, or else you'd lose 3-on-2 probably. But yeah, usually you just have to figure out if it's really volatile or it's like not worried. You just have to factor in a lot of stuff. That's the big issue here. So yeah, it's not that easy, but so that's the easiest one is volatile lanes, and yeah, usually when words die out, and yeah. I don't know when they have no flash. I don't know, there's so many factors, so not much else I can say about it.
Alright, last question. This is more of a personal question. So, your brother from Maple Street, aka Oddbro, he recently joined the LCS. How has the relationship of you guys, how has it been just playing with him and seeing him every week, and how would you feel if you block or you'd lose to him?
I don't know, it's like, I don't really care if I lose to him. It's like, good on him that his team's better. If we win against him, oh well. Because we're all basically working. Like, yeah, it's pretty cool that he's in the LCS. It's the biggest thing. But I don't really, like, I wouldn't really mind if his team won. Of course, I'd be sad. Like, wouldn't matter who's on the opposing team. Like, I'd hate losing. Like, it doesn't really matter who's on the enemy team if I lose. Who's on the enemy team if I win, so I don't really think of it like that. I just want to win and I hate losing, so unfortunately in the LCS it's like we're basically all working and we all want to win, so someone has to lose. Unfortunately it might just have to be my little brother, so yeah, but I do like that he's in the LCS. It's pretty cool that he's sort of doing what I'm doing, so hope he has success in that, but I hope we win.
Yeah, hope you win over him, right? Alright, thanks a lot for the community questions. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Dan.
Thank you.